And so we continue with our Kevin Durant to the Warriors post coverage. I think it's like day 37 since he signed, and we've found a way to talk about him as much as possible because people keep giving us reasons to talk about him. Bleacher Report, without even seeing Draymond Green and Kevin Durant and Steph Curry play with each other yet, they've posted this picture which says, "Which big three?" question mark. And of course, we're going to get into the discussion as to who's the best big three of all time. And you can't even consider them yet until we've seen them perform. So we've brought in our chief big three correspondent, Jason Rubin, who is going to come in with his vast experience in the big three world to talk about this. So Jay, the picture on Bleacher Report first, before we get into ones that they didn't even mention, and my God, they paid the consequence, as many people let them know. We have, of course, Wade, LeBron, and Bosh. In the previous one, we have Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. And in the bottom left, we have Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, and Kevin Love.
And you have the biggest disrespect bitch slap to the Golden State Warriors. You're going to leave Klay Thompson out of it?
Exactly.
I mean, to me, that's offensive. Like, you have to kind of put, if you want to classify them as a big three, you really can't because of that's a big four.
Yeah, I'm
Who's
sure
the greatest
Rajon
big
Rondo's
four ever?
got thoughts as
Different
well.
question. But what I was going to say was, when it comes to, like, the graphic they used, for one, it's a fun debate question. I love this. I could talk about this all day. To me, it's still LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. And that's no offense to KG Pierce and Ray Allen, but they only won one championship. And they could have won more. They did lose to Kobe and the Lakers that following year. Mm-hmm. The Heat got there 4 straight years, immediately got together, didn't even look that good, made the finals. I don't care about the East versus West conversation right this second when it comes to the big three. And they won 2 of them, including beating Kevin Durant's, the James Harden, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, obviously not as developed Thunder, and then the following year against a very good Spurs team. The LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin Love, yeah, they just won 1 championship, still unproven, and we haven't even seen the Warriors play.
Yeah.
What I think where people started freaking out was because Bleacher Report didn't specify that since 2007, 2008, who's the best big three.
Yeah.
Right? So the internet freaks out. They put up a picture. Someone puts up a picture of Kobe, Pau Gasol, and Lamar Odom. No, not the best big three of all time. Actually doesn't even hold a candle, in my opinion, to the Miami Heat. I know they won 2, but that was Kobe and Pau. And you throwing Lamar in there? He was good. He wasn't a big 3-piece.
Yeah.
Kobe and Shaq were a big 2, so you really can't even compromise it there. But if they're going to really do it, okay, Jordan, Pippen, Rodman.
Dennis Rodman.
Rodman was part of 2 of them. Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, and Dennis Rodman from the Bad Boy Pistons were one of the best big threes of all time. And, of course, someone mentioned McHale, Bird, and Parrish from the Celtics. That probably is, alongside Magic, Kareem, James Worthy. Yeah. All right, so to wrap up all of that, Miami Heat big three was the best big three on that graphic. And then you have to go back to the Celtics versus the Lakers if you want to find a comparable big three, because all the others were big twos. Pippen and Jordan, it was duos. Kobe and Shaq, it was duos. All great teams.
When the Celtics, is Rajon Rondo not considered part of that? Part of the reason he was there?
The problem with that was that Rondo was so young at that point. He was very underdeveloped, and he also had, he was such a gifted passer, even at Kentucky. And when you got options to pass to a deathly mid-range shooter in Kevin Garnett and some of the backup on the post in Kevin Garnett, a guy who can drain threes with ease, and Paul Pierce, who is just an all-around great player, especially on the defensive end of the floor, it played into Rondo's system. Rondo is not a great scorer. He had 3 great scorers to dish it to. Yeah. Therefore, to spread the floor, he was the perfect 4th piece to that system.
By the way, there's another big three that, according to Twitter user Heavy Metal Chick, with the caption, "Put this in your pipe and smoke it." And then 1,000 likes later, of course, people thought that this was a pretty valid point. She put in a Spurs big three with, of course, Tim Duncan, Ginobili, and Tony Parker, who won 4 championships, I believe.
Yeah, wow, that's I can't believe I just completely glossed over the 5 championships, or maybe 4, that they all have together.
Yeah.
But that's just a Spurs thing to do. Just go under the radar, win a championship when everybody's counting you out and not believing, the Spurs are going to do it again. So it's offensive to not include the Spurs in there, considering they beat the Miami Heat big three.
Yeah.
They've beaten great teams along the way. They had some battles in the Western Conference in 1999, 2003, 05, 07, all during Kobe's prime of his career, and even the tail end of Shaq. When it comes to the best big three on that graphic, it's the Heat.
Yeah.
They've proven the most. 4 straight finals appearances, 2 championships.
When I consider, I don't know if you agree with this or not. I mean, when I consider big three, in basketball. It's three players that have already established themselves with other teams, whether maybe one's on the team, like so when I take into consideration the Miami Heat, LeBron James established himself as one of the best players in the league at the Cavs, Chris Bosh at the Raptors, and Dwayne Wade's currently there at the Heat. You bring those pieces together and they're able to combine and form that big three. I think that's where you can make the argument in the past, and there's plenty of teams that have had three phenomenal players on a group of players that have maybe already been groomed together, and they've kind of been raised through the program. But big three is that idea of you're bringing in these huge names that are almost bigger than the teams that they play for, and they're able to come in and mesh. So yeah, I think that if Kevin Durant comes into the Golden State Warriors and they're able to form a big three that goes on to dominate, that's a big three because you have Steph Curry there, who's arguably one of the best players in the league and arguably one of the best players to be involved in the game. And then Kevin Durant comes in and they're able to form that partnership. The similar aspect goes to the Miami Heat as well, because that was a team that no one expected them to mesh as well as they did, and everyone was their harshest critic. Everyone kind of was rooting against them because of the names that came into the league, and everyone said they were cheating in order to get championships. But they were able to reach 4 straight NBA Finals, win half of them, which at that point was just unbelievable considering some of the teams that they had to compete against. But the Miami Heat stand out to me on that graphic, but that's not disregarding any of the other teams, and that's where I think people will mention the Spurs. But similar to that aspect, they fly under the radar. They've got a great squad depth, and those players that they included in the big three, they didn't all come in from separate entities and suddenly just come in and there was this massive explosion. They were kind of groomed together and they grew together in order to win those championships. It's
a bit offensive to leave off a couple other big threes. Very important to mention. For one, Porzingis, Derrick Rose, Carmelo Anthony. Well, if you can put the Warriors on there, why can't you put the Knicks on there?
You're right. Both of them have won the same amount of games at this point, Jason.
Both those teams are 0-0 and have proven nothing. Now, I am not even going down the road to think that the Knicks are going to be as good as the Warriors or even as close to the Warriors next year.
I want to see where that road ends.
That road's going to end with me still crying over the Knicks losing in some form of a first-round playoff series. But, I mean, it's funny because it's just how you have to classify big three, right? And all Bleacher Report did was put out a graphic, right? I'm not sure if there's enough space on that graphic to put all the big threes of all time onto it so you can read it in a tweet. You got to keep in mind, 140 characters. There's not a lot of room, and the picture takes up half the characters anyway. So I think it's one of those things where the Heat still take the cake. In 5 years, we can judge the Warriors, but we might not even know what they look like in 5 years.
In 5 years, we can judge the Cavs. They've made 2 straight NBA Finals with Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, and LeBron James, although I don't see Kevin Love staying put for the majority of that time. Say they make the Finals again this year. You never know. They maybe go on to repeat. They have to be in the argument, right? They have to be in the conversation because when you get Kevin Love coming from the Timberwolves, LeBron James coming from Heat.
It all just, if you're going to talk about the best big three, the records mean nothing. It's the championships.
Yeah.
Like, because what are you coming together for? To win championships. You're not coming together to win somebody an MVP or to all be all-stars. You're coming together to win championships, and that's how you have to judge it. So right now, the Heat have the most. What about CP3, Chris Bosh? CP3, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan?
Well,
no
Dan
love?
in the background giving a very firm and very sturdy head shake.
Head shake. How about a CP3?
What about
DeAndre
the Seattle
Jordan,
Clippers?
JJ Redick?
Maybe if they become the Seattle Clippers and then they form a big three up there, you never know. They may be going
the Seattle Clippers.
All right, Jason, thanks again for being our Big Three correspondent. We really do appreciate it. You've been phenomenal today. All the correspondents in all the divisions. We can't complain. Hurry back soon. I think you come back in the studio Wednesday, so the gang will all be back together. Hit us up on social media, Francis_Maxwell, Jason Rubin 91, and we'll catch you guys very soon.
All right, man.
All right, brother.
I'll see you. Hold on. Stay on for a second.
All right, stay on for a sec.
Hold on. How do I flip the camera? There it is.
God,
ready for it? Where is it? Boom.
Keep this on the camera. Oh, my God.